4, 3, 2, 1. This is Deducter bringing you set 4 of KT versus Woongjin. We have Really versus BarrackS in this game on Fortress. BarrackS playing for KT as the white Terran at the 9 o'clock position. Really is the red Terran at the 6 o'clock position. There we see BarrackS. So BarrackS, decent Terran player. He's played some interesting TVTs recently. Well, interesting may be a bit of an exaggeration, but there were some good games played between BarrackS and Classics, for instance, that perhaps not the stunning highest level of Terran versus Terran were at least instructive in the basic principles of Terran versus Terran. Mobility really is the key. The player who had more dropships at the end won those two games. So really, dropships and maneuver are the key. That or you shut down maneuver with Raves. Do something. You can't just let your opponent mass up dropships and do whatever they want with them. Anyway, here we see two Korean people there. A couple, presumably, not hiding their faces, which is a fact. So that's good for them. And now we see these two players both playing down their supply depots. So far, KT is up 2-1, and if BarrackS can win here, things are not going to look too good for Woongjin because they have to deal with Flash, and they've run out of most players except for Free, and Free does not have too much of a chance against Flash, I have to feel. Especially in recent days when Free has not been playing too well. Flash, perhaps the most famous game he ever played against Free was the one where, way back in 2007, where he came back against Free when Free rushed Flash with Zealots at the front. It was on that map, the double expand map. I can't remember the name of that map. It was a really, really heavy macro map with the expansion behind your base. And it looks like Command Center 14cc here, but sort of a hidden 14cc, if you would. Really is going to get out in the correct direction. He's not going to see this, but he's not going to see the... Oh, interesting. Really taking a peek at the natural. So this is working out brilliantly here for BarrackS. Well done. Surely BarrackS took a leaf out of Flash's page here. No, it's page out of a book, or leaf out of a book. But anyway, well done there by BarrackS, or perhaps I should say poorly done by Really. And I should not talk about the Flash versus Free game. If it comes to that, I can discuss that, and I will probably remember the name of the map at that point. But it was when Flash first realized how to employ the anti-carrier build. That's the game. Anyway, 14cc here. Well done, I have to say. BarrackS into expansion by Really. He is going to be slightly behind in economy, but it's not going to bother either player too much. It's not that critical in TVT. It is clever how Really has, or not really, wow, it's not clever on his part. He has tried to scout cleverly, but it didn't work out for him, and now he's going to know exactly where BarrackS is. Certainly very clever by BarrackS to put that command center in an off-center location. Really just wanted to see whether there was a 14cc going down there. The timing was such that he probably anticipated, should the command center have gone down there, he would spot it and know that the 14cc is incoming. But it's not going to bother, I think, either player too much. Clever little maneuver. One good thing, of course, is that BarrackS did not have to bring out SCV to deal with the harassing SCV. Surely Really would have sent his SCV to harass the building SCV. So, either case, very nice maneuver there by BarrackS, I have to say. And now Really is going to be forced to pause outside the base there with his SCV. He can't advance further against a bunker and those Marines. And both players more or less even at this point. Let's see what they will do. They are in a fairly close position to each other. I might argue that perhaps Really has a bit of a positional advantage, since BarrackS' main base is closer to his than Really's main base is to BarrackS. Well, the natural is still quite a viable drop location. There is a huge amount of space behind the mineral lines, but generally, Terran players seem to like to drop the main. I think that makes a lot of sense, considering you can attack the SCVs. Once the SCVs withdraw, you can always kill a few supply depots here and there, which is a nice little bonus. It also tends to be somewhat more difficult to dislodge, to bring forces in to clear out the drop. Generally, tanks and the vultures and the Goliaths will sort of clash against, or run into, I should say, not clash, run into buildings. And this SCV gonna scout out BarrackS base. Really is gonna see 2 machine shops. He's gonna see an armory. So well done by Really there, I'd say. Getting a critical scouting. He knows what's coming his way. He's not gonna be too bothered, I think. He doesn't quite know what exactly might be coming his way, but he sees, for instance, no starport. So I think he knows there's going to be more tanks than usual, probably. Let's see what is going to happen here. Starport, now Starport going down by BarrackS at his natural. So, really needs to be a bit wary here of some sort of potential drop. A 4 vulture drop could be devastating if employed correctly. BarrackS has sort of floated his BarrackS over here to scout for him, so he does need some scouting information. He'll probably lose the BarrackS to, well, not the 2 Marines, but if some Goliaths come out, for instance. But he is going to see 2 factories and a machine shop, both of them. And he does not see the armory, though. I don't think he's going to be too bothered by that. He sees what he needs to. Academy and Control Tower going down here for BarrackS. BarrackS decided to push out a bit with the few forces he has. Perhaps he wants to get himself advanced position on the map. He's got 3 tanks and 2 Marines. This SCV by Really is going to scout out this attacking force, it looks like. At least scout out some sort of units are coming his way. So Really is going to be well prepared for this. He's got 4 tanks and 2 Marines, and BarrackS with a few Goliaths here. I just don't think he'll be able to accomplish too much either without dropships or raves. He would be wise to either siege up or back up a bit more. Factories, 2 more factories going down here for Really. So Really is going to be in a good position. 2 more factories going down for BarrackS. So both players playing a very similar game. I'm just saying now we might have a bit of engagement here in the middle of the map. Attack here coming in by BarrackS. Really again with the SCV sneaking through. And these 2 tanks not going to be able to get any sort of hits off. That SCV gonna spot more factories going down. I don't know whether it spotted a dropship, and this is really sloppy, I have to say, by BarrackS, letting that scout run all amok in his base, seeing everything. Silly, this dropship coming out. Maybe he's gonna drop over some siege tanks. That could work well. It looks like there are tanks against these other tanks here. Well, of course, it's tank-on-tank action here in TVT. But the point is, both players not quite able to siege up. A few Goliaths, I believe, loading into that dropship. But that dropship is at risk of getting sniped by these Goliaths. No, Goliath's not able to fire. However, I don't think he'll accomplish too much with all these forces of Really coming in to ward off this dropship. The dropship is forced to pull back there for BarrackS. Neither player really able to gain any sort of advantage early on. I have to say, Really much better about his scouting. And BarrackS could do much better in that regard. BarrackS appears to be slightly more Goliath heavy, perhaps. It is a little hard to tell. Really has that 1 dropship. I mean, not really. BarrackS has that 1 dropship. Really would be wise to get his own dropships, and BarrackS would be wise to reinforce. Once he can get 3 or 4 dropships, it will be a formidable force indeed. And we see one of the tanks going down here for Really. Really trying to maneuver his forces as best as possible in the middle of the map. He needs to be a bit careful, obviously. You can see with the dropship, it is very useful. The scouting advantage allows BarrackS to get some free hits off. Always nice. A scan now going down, presumably by Really. It really has no defenses in the back of his base there, or at his natural. This is what I mean. A few more dropships, and things could be looking quite desperate here for Really. Well, maybe not quite desperate, but certainly BarrackS can inflict some damage and take an early lead. Although with that 1 dropship, he is not really even able to threaten the best he can. Use that dropship for his bit of positional advantage here at the middle of the map, and now BarrackS is going to lose his BarrackS out front. So, now, 3 dropships. Okay, nice maneuver here. Unfortunately for BarrackS, that SCV scouts it out. Now BarrackS bringing out his 3 dropships, but Stats has some forces in position to intercept, and BarrackS going to drop his forces there, it looks like, at that little fortress position at the 7 o'clock, the little expansion, rather. Really might be making a massive push at the front with his forces. And now, BarrackS trying to drop, but not being very decisive at all. He's going to risk his dropships perhaps getting intercepted if he's not careful. No, he's just backed them up for now. I still think BarrackS is in a good position. he scouted this massive army here of that's really only able to siege up in front. Now BarrackS with 4 dropships, a very potent force indeed. Let's see what BarrackS decides to do with it. He is going to, I think with the forces he has on the ground, he can defend his natural, and he should be wise to attack either the natural or the main. Really, both players putting down their 3rd base, it looks like, on the map here. Massive attack here coming in by BarrackS, but he's going to get intercepted by more Goliaths on the field. He's just not quite able to decide where to attack. I don't know. He was so much more decisive early on. Now it looks like BarrackS is going to do what he can to clear out this force in the middle here, launching a massive attack. I'm not sure whether this is the best maneuver. He is going to do some damage here, but really bring out all sorts of forces to attack too, and I think this is going to... BarrackS is going to incur far more losses than he wants. Yes, he's lost all his forces here, it looks like, in the middle, while accomplishing pretty much nothing. He would have been so much better off dropping that army at one of the bases, I feel, and now really has taken a bit of a lead, really with his own start point now, really with a significantly stronger presence on the map. He is going to do his best to push the front here against BarrackS. BarrackS with some more dropships. I don't know what's in them. He's going to unload his tanks here to try to defend, and really gonna put on a lot of pressure, try to keep BarrackS in his base. I think this is a good maneuver. After all, BarrackS has the maneuver advantage at this point, but he has not used it very well. And BarrackS is persisting in trying to clear out the force in the front here. While this is not true, he's not clearing the forces out, he's just defending as best he can. And now BarrackS forced to use every single one of his reinforcing tanks here to siege up outside his natural, and really has established a contain here. Again, I feel BarrackS would have been so much better off had he opted to attack with his 4 dropships with his units at either the main or the natural of really now putting down another expansion. He is going to take this opportunity to get ahead in this space, in the bases in this game. And I really don't know what BarrackS can do except risk everything in a massive drop maneuver. He is ferrying SCVs there, it looks like, to the 11 o'clock base. And this SCV-4 really going to establish perhaps a sentry turret, if you would. Really also with the economic advantage, since BarrackS unable to send SCVs to his 11 o'clock, whereas really has been able to transfer SCVs to the 3 o'clock base. Now looks like dropships are coming out here for really. BarrackS is using, he's got the more dropships, he's floating command center over to the 5 o'clock base, I mean not 5 o'clock, the 7 o'clock base it looks like. So both players playing well, I would say, but really is in an economic lead, and should he be able to build up his own dropship fleet, I think really will be in a good position. He's got 2 dropships now, outnumbered significantly so far, but as long as he keeps building, he'll be fine. BarrackS with 4 dropships. He is again going to try to clear out the force in the middle here. This time he's going to have better luck. He loses one of his dropships to accomplish this, but I don't know what he really gained by this. Really now going to siege up his tanks, and BarrackS forced to siege his ups too in the middle. BarrackS has sort of broken his way out of contain a little bit, but not really accomplishing too much, not able to inflict any sort of damage. And I just don't think this is how BarrackS should employ his forces. I mean, he did it so well against Classic that I don't know why he's playing like this in this game. Really is truly going insane with the expansions. He's not getting those expansions that are protected. Sort of the corner island expansions, if you would. Instead, he's opting to get expansions that are more readily accessible in the middle of the map, which makes sense, of course. If he has inferiority in dropship, he needs to be able to send ground forces there to defend them. And now BarrackS with 4 dropships worth of units, still not quite able to decide what he wants to do with them. Clearing out forces in the middle is fairly pointless, because the Terran can easily defend their bases, even against an overwhelming attack by a 2 or even 3-1 numeric advantage. At a frontal assault is very, very difficult by another Terran player. In TVT, frontal assault is just incredibly difficult. And it looks like 4 dropships now up by really has a good size force of dropships. And it looks like BarrackS with the siege advantage here, he has forces to clean out this drop that's incoming, and forced to really to withdraw his forces here, really not able to accomplish too much, at least really going for one of the bases. So it looks like this has settled into more or less a stalemate at this point. Both players with forces in position here, sieged up outside and inside of the base at the 7 o'clock. So thus far, neither player able to make any sort of decisive advance. Really does have his own dropship fleet now, so the maneuver advantage is gone. Not that BarrackS has made too much of a use of it. He has more dropships still. He has 7 dropships, it looks like. And BarrackS, if he can do a massive drop at one of these mining bases or at the main, he can inflict significant damage. However, he is being very cautious for some reason this game. And I don't know whether I like this or not. You can see on the mini-map that really has taken more of the mini-map. Now, massive drop here coming by BarrackS at the natural base. This is what he needed to do earlier. He is going to be able to clear out most of the forces. Now the dropship's coming for really, and looks like BarrackS is going to lose his entire drop. He's able to clean out a dropship there, but he's lost a lot of units to that counterattack. And things not looking very good for Classic at all, I have to say. I mean, he did what he needed to do. It was just too late. When he had 4 dropships and when really had none, that was his golden opportunity to inflict damage. But now, really, with his own dropships, and he's sending all sorts of forces to clean out the SCVs here. The SCV's not going to be able to escape at the 7 o'clock. Things looking truly desperate here for BarrackS. He has maybe 2 mining bases, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4 of really. So both players' mains are surely empty or almost empty at this point. And either BarrackS needs to get more expansions or he needs to inflict some counter damage. This is not sustainable. If this game goes on for too much longer in the current state, there's not too much of a chance for BarrackS to win. These dropships are going to fly into some turrets potentially. They are going to fly into some scouting SCVs, it looks like. There are lots more turrets here, but really going to be able to bring his forces in to defend, and BarrackS forced to withdraw here. He does not want to press his luck against those turrets, and so BarrackS is going to keep his dropships in reserve, it looks like, floating command center here to 12 o'clock. The thing is, he doesn't really have a good way of getting to the 12 o'clock, except with his dropships. The Middle is controlled by, really, just looking at the mini-map here, he can't transfer SCVs that way. He needs to transfer SCVs with dropships, and now, really, with a lot of dropships, it looks like he has 6 dropships to BarrackS' 5. And so I think at this point really is in prime position to win the game. I think really realizes he would be wise to attack one of these mining bases, shut it down, and just strangle, really choke BarrackS to death here. There's not too much BarrackS can do about this. He's just, at this point, war of attrition is going to work out extremely well for really. He should be the one willing to trade tank for tank here, and not allow not allow BarrackS to reinforce his base there at the 12 o'clock. The other thing, of course, that really can do is try to attack the main, basically attack somewhere to distract BarrackS. Really, though, not quite able to commit to an attack just yet. Okay, now he's coming in for attack at the main. He's also got a second tank force there. Going to lose one of his dropships, but I don't think he's going to mind too much. He's going to be able to load his units up very quickly. Now BarrackS bringing his forces to counterattack here. Massive battle here, but I think really just has too many units, and BarrackS' drop not effective at all. And now really has a dozen tanks, it looks like, siege in the main here of BarrackS. This is surely going to be GG soon enough. Well done, I have to say, by really has +2 attack upgrade finish on his forces. BarrackS has one more chance to send some forces in to clean this up. He's losing all his supply depots. He's going to be supply blocked at this rate, whereas really bringing all sorts of reinforcements again. Well done by really, I have to say, one decisive crippling blow here. BarrackS is going to do what he can to try to stay in this game. I just don't think it's going to matter. He's going to lose all his supply. He's bringing some units in to try to clean out this drop. He doesn't seem to have many units left in them, and he might be able to clean out part of this force, but he just doesn't have enough to get it done. And now, massive push at the front here by really, and BarrackS not with anything able to defend. This is surely going to be GG soon enough. GG coming from BarrackS. Well done by really. BarrackS, despite his early maneuver advantage, not capitalizing on it and losing this game. Going on to the next set.
에이스의 어떤 역량은 아직까지 사라진 건 아니거든요. 특히나 테란 대 테란전을 만났을 때 박상우 선수의 정말 그 능력이 드러나는 경우들이